Kule video lena ngizokwenza inheritance with one parent class and two child classes. Okay, so lapha i-parent class kuzoba i-base, the base pool, and then bese kuba ne-heated pool, and then there is a salt pool. Okay, so let me go for the statement ngizokuthi kuthiwani statement. Okay, nansi statement sethu. So lapha we have got the basic pool, heated pool, the salt water pool. So these are the children, these are the child classes, then this is the parent. I-parent iphinde ibizwa ngokuthi it's a base class, a child class, iphinde ibizwa ngokuthi it's a derived class. Okay, so now sitting statement kuthiwa you have been hired as a system developer for this company to develop and assist quotation for a pool. There is a basic pool from which two types of pools can be built. That is a heated pool. Okay, they are saying there is a basic pool, this one, from which two types of pools can be built. Okay, so iwaphi lawo two types of pools that can be built from this one, ilama child classes, the heated one and then the salt one. Okay, let's check manje. Let's hear here what is required. They're saying the size measurements of the pool are input by the user. Okay, the size measurements of the pool are input by the user. Iwaphi my size measurement, allow the length, the width, and the depth. Okay, and then they're saying these are the input from the user. So the user must type these things down. Okay, in meters and can contain decimals. Okay, which means now lelo khundla nakho sokumele uma we declare the data type, you can use it data type you double or decimal, and then ukuzokwazi accommodate numbers with decimal. They're saying these variables include length, width, and okay, which are used to determine the number of liters of water required to pool and the cost of the basic pool. So lama measurement lawa are required to determine the number of liters and then again to calculate the cost of the basic pool. The cost of which pool? Of the basic pool. Okay, so what else? They're saying to calculate the number of liters, you need to find the volume of the pool. You can do so using the formula. Okay, this one to calculate the volume. Okay, so lelo kunjani lelo we calculate happy in which class you will calculate this the volume ku parent class, ku basic pool class. Okay, because they told you here you'll need to calculate what the basic cost. You need to calculate the cost of the basic pool, the cost of the basic pool. So in order for us to find this one, we'll need to calculate the volume. Okay, and then the volume must use any formula to calculate the volume, and then to calculate the number of liters. Okay, and then again calculate the number of liters. Again, onke lama method lawa currently sizowenza phi kwi base class. Okay, you divide the volume by this one to find what? Okay, to find the volume. They're saying to calculate the number of liters, you divide the volume by this one. So meaning after also calculating a volume, ukuze ukwazi ukuthola ama number of liters, you'll have to take the method of the volume then divide by this one to find what? The number of liters. What else? To calculate the cost of the basic pool, you need to find the area of the pool. Okay, to calculate the area, multiply the length and width measurements. The company charges 500 rands per square meter. Okay, so now what does this mean? It means how many methods we need here in order for us to find what the basic or the cost of the basic pool. One, we need the volume. This is the first method as a thing, using this formula. And then what else? We need to calculate the number of liters. This is our second method. What else? And then again we need to find the area of the pool. Lastly, we need to find what? The basic cost. Okay, the cost of the basic pool. Alright, so singawenza lama method lawa separately abe 4 like this in order to ukuthi siyenze lento yethu ibe simple. Okay, so how do we calculate now the basic cost? We need to find the area first before we find this one. So the area, after we calculate it, they are saying now the company charges 500 rands per square meter. What is a square meter? A square meter in the area of the calculated here. So you will take those meters. Remember which area is measured in meter square, because here they said which this is in meters. The measurement will be measured in meters. Yes, here in meters. So the area will be the number of will be those measurement with meter square. Okay. And then here meaning uthatha lawo ma measurement lawo ozobwatholela ku area times this 500 to find what? The basic cost. Alright, so now what else? Okay, besakhuluma ngani nge-basic class. Okay, but before we come here, because this one is related to the child class, the heating one. What else? Okay, and this one is for, yes, this one. Okay, so for now ngicela ukuthi ngiqale ngelokhuzi nge-base class. Yes, let me start with the base class. Okay, ilokhuzane yethu sengidesignile here screen njengoba bebeshilo bebabonisile ukuthi how to design the screen. Here is the screen. I have already designed the screen here. So ngibona ukuthi kuzomosha isikhathi, that's why I've designed the screen already for us ukuthi kube simple. Okay, yes, screen sethu say like this. So now yini ke manje sidingayo from here? We need to create the classes, to add ama classes here. Okay, let's go to the Solution Explorer. Where is the Solution Explorer? Solution Explorer. Okay, now I need to add the parent class, the base class. Okay, just right click on the name of the project, right click, and then go to add. So look at the class njalo, the parent class, which is the base pool, the basic pool. Then go to class and then click that one. And almost as the screen, you need to rename this one. Let me rename this one to basic pool. This is the name of the method, sorry, of the class, the parent one. Then add. After also clicking on add, and then bese vela the name of the class like this. So nalapha izovela ku Solution Explorer. Okay, here it is. Alright, and then from here lapha ku class, and then you need to add public. You need to add public. Alright, so now we need to do equal to, and then from here press enter. Alright, so now let me check the manje ukuthi iwaphi ke manje ama attribute odinga siwa declare. We've been given here ama attributes. We have been given these attributes. Now our 3. Okay, like this. Okay, let me declare it here. Okay, so lama attribute lawa I private, so declare as private. private. Okay, in length and width and depth, they say definitely hours will accept what meters and can contain decimals, meaning is what declare as double. Okay, so it's gonna be double, but sometimes you can use decimal. Yes. Okay, I'm going to start with length. Sorry, length. Okay, let me copy this and paste and change this. Going to put this okay. Now from here, what do we do now? We are done ngamanje ngokudeclare izona zinto lezi esizoyidinga for a basic tool. So now we need to go for property structures. Property structures, we use public. They must be public. It's public. Okay, so so remember this is double, then we can use double as well here. It's double, and then prop length, then open the color bracket and close. And then here we need to include the getter and setter method. Okay, we are going to start with get and then return. What are we returning? We are going to return length and then put it here, and then put a semicolon after, and then enter, and then put a setter method, curly brackets, and then put length inside here, put length, and then assign this to the value, and then semicolon. Again, let's do the same process for lawa manye futhi amalokunjani. We paste this, and then I'm going to copy this and paste here, length and paste width, and then I'm going to change this and put this one again here. Going to change this. Okay, let me copy again. So I'm going to change this again to put depth, and change this and paste, change this, paste it. Okay, so we are done with property structures. Let's go for constructors. Okay, constructors again must be public. Constructors public. Okay, so here we need to call the name of the class, which is basic pool. Let me copy this and put it here and paste, and then open the bracket and close, because this one is regarded as a method. Okay, so it must be like this. And then here, what are we doing here now? We need to assign all these property attributes. We assign them to the default values. So seqala ngani nge default constructor before sizingani nge parameterized. So here we're going to put this prop length. That's going to be the first one, prop length equal to 0. Remember, the prop length is a double, data type you double, so we assign that one to 0. Okay, and then again we're going to take this one and include it here. Again, it must be assigned to 0 as well. Let me copy this and paste it to 0 as well. Okay, we are done the default constructors. These are default constructors. Default constructor. Okay, let me copy this and paste here. I'm going to change this one to parameterized. Okay, so here it's gonna be okay. Here now we need to include lamalokunjan lawa. We need to declare lamalokunjan inside here. So the first one is double. Onge ama double value. It's double. Okay, let me put L to represent length. Okay, let me copy this Alright, so lapha if you could declare amanye variables also are assigned to this one. L represent length, W represent width, and then D represent this one. Okay, after we are done doing parameterized constructors way 2, so now we need to do methods here. Remember, class, this is the parent class, right? So a method of here is let me go to the statement. Okay, so these are the methods of the class the parent class. So there is a volume, there are a number of liters, and then there's an area of the pool, and then there's a cost of the basic. Okay, let me start from the volume. If volume let's declare as double. Okay, let me say public is public double calc volume, and then outside open the curly bracket. Okay, so let me check how do we calculate the volume. They said to calculate the number of liters you need to find the volume of the pool. Okay, you can do so using the formula, the length times this and this. Okay, so here we're just calculating what? The volume. Okay, it means if volume here, going to say return. So they said you need to multiply this, the prop length times prop width, this one, and then times prop this one. Okay, yeah, done the volume. What else? And they say the number of liters. Okay, to calculate the number of liters, you divide the volume by this. Okay, divide the volume by this. Let me copy this. Okay, to find the number of liters. Okay, let me calculate the number of liters. Let me say public. The method must be public. It's public. The number of liters. Okay, double. Calc the number of liters. And open the brackets, close. Okay, and now I'm going to return. They say to divide the volume. Okay, so I'm going to call this method, which is calc volume, put this bracket, and then divide by this number, and then semicolon. Okay, what else do we need? They say you need to calculate what? The cost. But before you calculate the cost, you need to find the area of the pool. So how do we calculate the area of the pool? They say to calculate the area, you multiply the length and width. Okay, so the area is very simple. Let me say public double calc area, open this bracket. Okay, so I'm going to return this one. They said you calculate the length, or you multiply the length with this one. Let me confirm the area, the length, and the width. Okay, the length and the width. Okay, we're done. We're done calculating the area. Okay, so now let's see what else is missing. They say to calculate the cost of the basic pool, you need to find the area of the pool. Okay, so to calculate the area, okay, we are given the formula, and then we are done calculating the area. They said the company charges 500 rands per square meter. Okay, meaning ukuze sikwazi ukuthola i-cost of the basic pool, we need the area and multiply the area by this. Okay, so now let me calculate now. So remember, we say the basic cost is needed between lapha kwamanye amalokunjani kwamanye okay. Now before, okay, let me just calculate the normal basic cost. Okay, let me say public double and let's say calc basic cost. Okay, that is here. How to calculate the basic cost? You multiply the area by, okay, let me see on the 10, you multiply the area, which is calc area, multiplied by 500. Okay, we are done. Now we need to understand is what else is needed. So okay, let me check the technique. Okay, now we are done the basic pool, but there's something missing, but very usual and now because people will, so I will use okay, here kwamanye classes. Okay, they're saying the heated pool cost is charged at the basic pool cost. Okay, so now isiyabuya ke manje lento basic cost. They are saying the heated pool cost is charged at the basic pool cost plus the heating cost. Iwaphi ama heating cost? These are the heating costs, and then the basic pool cost in the cost is calculated with the parent class. So now they are saying in order for us to find what? To find the heated cost, no matter the final cost of the heating, of the heating pool, we need to reuse the basic cost plus the cost of the heating, the heating cost, which means now we need what? The basic cost. The basic cost ukuze sikwazi ke manje uku-accessa sisebenzise kuphi here kwamanye amalokunjani kwama-child classes. Then we need to declare it as virtual. We need to come back here, say public virtual double, and then the name of the method. Okay, so now segment which is create in a class name of the heated pool. Okay, and then I've created that here. Now class heated pool, and then I guess okay, it is still empty. We haven't done anything. Okay, this has to be public. Okay, so remember now what the heated pool will inherit from the basic pool. So if heated pool is the child, the basic is the parent. So now the heated pool must inherit from what? From the basic. Izo inherita ama attributes nani nalama methods now, but the main method this is we inheritor is only this method. Honestly, because this one contains ama method abalekile siwadingayo. Okay, so iwapha ama attributes esizwa inheritor here nama attributes lawa siwa declare la ama property structures. So now we need to say, okay, heated pool, and then put the colon, and then put the name of the parent class, which is basic pool. This one is, and then put this one. So ngokwenza kanjena usuke what is it here? Okay, pull it. So ngokwenza kanjena usuke utshela le class le child ukuthi it must contain the attributes that are in this class. Yes, so kule class leli kunama attributes esiwadingayo. So there is no need ukuthi siphinde siwadeclare here the heated pool because we already do have them kule parent class. That's why we are using what? Inheritance. Inheritance kusiza ukuthi ukwazi uku-reuse information that is used when class. So now we can use looking at in relationship inheritance. So now let us check what to do next. Okay, for heated, let me check with the here for heated. Now we need to find out the attribute. Okay, check here with okay, so here based on the GUI, heating type. Heating type, we have got a myriad of buttons only. So once you select this myriad of button, then we click on process. This will letter information here, the number of letters, the basic cost, and then but before you select this one, you need to select here your heating pool or the heated pool, and then this you are selecting the type of the pool, the type of the heating. Select this one. Then multi color is of these values here, and then this is calculator here. So then the heated pool cost, you need this value, meaning that's why I say declare as virtual the method, because it's a reuser in this class. The heated pool cost. So now you want my attributes what for this class. Let's go back to the manager. Check the only thing esinayo yini the cost, the heating cost yona esingayi declare kuphi lapha kwe lokunjani kuleli class. Heating cost, what else? Let me check. Okay, they're saying the heated pool cost is charged plus the heating cost. Okay, there are 3 alternate heating costs applicable and depend on the choice of heating type made by the customer. Alright, njengoba bengisachaza la ukuthi so lapha sizochoose i-heating cost iyona sizoyideclare la. So kahle kahle lapha we have got only one attribute esizoyideclare esidingayo la, but amanye ke sesizowa inherita from basic class. Okay, so ngizochaza ukuthi why we are choosing this one. Okay, let me declare it's private double. So declare to heating cost. Okay, it's heating cost, and then the property structures. Okay, it's public double. Okay, sorry. Public double. So the prop heating cost, and then it's get and set a method. Return here. We are returning this here. Then semicolon. Then set a method. And then assign to the value semicolon. Okay, let's go to the my constructors. Okay, it's public. The name of the class is heated pool. Because the last the child, not the parent. You're dealing with the child. The child is heated pool. Okay, so these are the default constructors. So my default constructors, we will call all these attributes as now. So remember we are inheriting them now. So here we are going to say base, because lama attributes will land up in base class. That's why we are going to say base dot, and then we call the attributes. It's prop length, then equal to 0. Kanjalo all cases will be 0, but not the method. We are not calling the method here. Only the attributes. It's prop length and then width equal to 0. Kanjalo all we do the same. Alright, yeah. So sengwa etilege our 3 attributes is what I take base class. These are the attributes level 3. But now umehluko here we have this base dot Why we have this base? Because we are landing, and then this one never give no base because we create a corner class here. Yes, so now sizoqhubeka to ama. Alright, so now after the default constructors, then we need to do lapha ngezansi ama parameterized constructors. So let me just copy this because my parameterized constructors are found in my default constructors. Umehluko is just that you need to open the local zela. So okay, since here we are just inheriting lama properties in our outrame, let me go back to the basic class here, and then copy lama parameterized attributes lawa. Let me copy this because of fun. Let me copy this and come back to heated class and put them here like this because fun. Umehluko is just that we need to add this one, the heating cost. Sizobe sesithi comma ke la. The heating cost nayo iyini? Let me, okay, it's double. Okay, so now we declare as it double. It's double. Let me put H. Let me put capital letter H for heating cost. Okay, so now here with class lelo kunjani we are done manje. Okay, we need to rectify this one. Labo 0 laba ba wrong. Mele manje sifake this L for problem, capital letter L, and then sifake this W here, and then sifake D here. We will assign this D here and assign H to this one. Assign H to this one. Okay, we are done now ngama parameterized constructors, and now let's go to our method where we are going to calculate our calculations for the heating cost. So now yini into omele calculate. Let me check ilo kunjani la. So into omele calculate la is the heated pool cost. What is that pool? What is that cost? Ile cost lena this cost. You normally calculate. But again, before we calculate this cost, we need the basic pool cost, including the heating cost. The heating cost, it determines a heating type as we I selected. So it means which UI to once the user select red button la. Let's say mhlambu selector is solar heating, and then once I select solar heating, melebesi add which amount this price over 10,000. So now that's why manje we code it with last layer to heating. With last layer to the heated pool, we just declared only the heating cost as will be a representer in the heating type. So the heating cost it determines in the heating type. So a heating type, remember what it's a rad of button. So we can't declare a rad of buttons with class. A rad of buttons so we code under button. So that's why it's in a laptop class later. Here we just declared here. We just declared in the heating cost. Yona a amount. Yonki amount is obe ingenala is obe it determined once the user selects UI, once the user selects a red of button, maybe it's solar heating, that amount will be stored here. And then meaning here it represents a amount a identifier a type of heating. Yes. So now here okay, now we need to do our calculations here to calculate the heating cost. So heating cost is the total amount of MLSC calculator, which includes the basic cost plus the heating cost. Okay, so heating cost is determined or go to select a type of heating here. Okay, let me go back to let me go back. Okay, in the MLSC calculator in a heated pool cost. So we need to add the heating cost to the basic cost. So for now we do have the basic cost. The only thing that we need to do is to add what? Is to add the heating cost on top of what? Of the heating cost, or of the basic cost. Yes. Okay, let me go back to heated. Remember, Oguchi, we do have the method here, basic. method calculate basic cost. Okay, so now since we do have this method, we just need to override this method. Sikwazi uku-inherita sizoyifaka here ku-heated pool here. So now we're going to say public. Kahle aim yethu is to calculate what? The total heating pool cost. Okay, it's public it's public override. It's public override double, or let me just put this one. Okay, so isivele yasilethela ke konke like this. So ngicela ukuthi ngifake ama bracket here. Okay, noma ke angithi nje before ngifaka ama bracket. Okay, let's understand the statement with how do we calculate in. Kahle main aim yethu la is to calculate what? Is to calculate the total heating pool cost. Okay, so ukuze sikwazi ukuthola le heating pool cost, we need the basic cost. In the basic cost, we need to add something on top of it. Okay, so let me check now the statement. It's teeny. See the statement, the heated pool cost is charged at the basic pool cost plus the heating cost, meaning we already have what? The basic pool cost. So now we need to add what? The heating cost plus the heating cost. So we need just to add this thing. So now let's go back to our code. So now in the sizoyenza la is to say plus. The heating cost yethu irepresentwa yinali gama. So now sizothi plus la plus prop heating cost. So now it's plus, let me copy this, plus, yes. Okay, so now ngicela ukufaka ama bracket la ngivule, ngizothi close here. Okay, done. We are done manje nge-method noma ngathini. We are actually done ngani nge-class le heated pool. So sesirepresentile ini inheritance through putting this thing here. Lapho sisho khona ukuthi i-heated pool izo-inherita from what? From the basic pool. So i-basic pool is our parent class, the heated pool is our first child class. So now let's go and do i-class lesibili eliyi-child, nalo with salt water pool. Njengoba i-statement besishilo la phezulu ukuthi sizoba nama-child awu-2, we have got the heated pool and the salt water pool. So kwi-salt water pool kwenzakalani ke? Let's go back. Okay, nakho ke la ikhuluma khona nge-salt water pool. I-salt water pool nayo lokho njani nayo. So ama-details e-salt water pool azosperisheka here. I-user la I type anything, it's just that once you select here on top kwi-combo box, once you select here what you want the salt water pool, and then click on this button to process mele ikunikeza ama results. The only thing oyishayayo is just these things, this measurement. Share this measurement, and then you select the type of the pool, and then bese to process. After that, and then bese kunikeza yini it cost, yes, the total cost here if you selected what? The salt water pool. But if you select any heated pool, then this will say if you know what you can select a type of heating here. Okay, so now let's go and understand it. How do we calculate how to calculate this cost? How to our cost is our calculator. Okay, let's understand it. How do we calculate the salt cost and how to calculate the salt water pool cost? The salt water pool cost is the total cost for salt water pool. This one is the cost for salt. Okay, let's understand how to calculate the salt cost. Where is it? Okay, here they're saying the salt water pool cost is charged at the basic pool cost plus a salt cost. Okay, they're saying the salt water pool cost is in the total is this total cost, and then they're saying to calculate that total cost we need to add what? We add the salt cost on what? On the basic pool cost. So now we do have the basic pool cost from the parent class, and then into is to calculate this. Class salt water pool. Just need to calculate the salt cost and then add this to this, and then let's install in the saltwater pool cost. Okay, but before we do those calculations, now we need to check ukuthi iwaphi ke manje ama attributes esiwadingayo kuphi ke class le saltwater pool, class le saltwater pool. Let me check. Ngokubheka ilokhu njani ayikho into edinga ukuthi si declare here. We just need to inherit from the parent class. Ayikho into edinga ukuthi i-user i-type. Uma unga-checker here, there is nothing edinga ukuthi user i-type it down noma ishaya as input or select anything, except from this combo box ukuthi you'll just select here the type of water pool. Maybe you select saltwater pool, but there is nothing edinga wena to interact like into mhlambe i-input as a selector here the saltwater pool. It's just that izobe display ama results. So now it means there is nothing thina edinga ukuthi si declare class lethu nani le saltwater pool. Let me go back and check that class. Okay, here the class le saltwater pool. Okay, so now the class name is just class and then the name of the class. Okay, let me put public here. It's public. Okay, so remember this is the child class, so we need to inherit from where? From the basic pool class. A parent. You must check very carefully in the relationship here with it. They just given us the heated pool will inherit from the basic, and then the salt will inherit from the basic. So you must be careful when it comes to equal diaco, and then must combisa futhi the relationship between the child and the parent. So you need to put that here, and then put this colon, and then put basic pool. Yes, this is the name of the parent. Okay, and then let's go to our code now. So la yini ke manje kumele siyenze la. Remember I said ukuthi la ayikho into i-user ezoyifaka as input. So and futhi ayikho into edinga ukuthi si declare la kule class le saltwater pool. It's just that ukuthi nje kunama calculations ofuna siwa calculate to display the results, just to display the results. So now in the sidinga la ku saltwater pool, we just need to inherit ama attributes akuphi alapha ku basic class. So now let's go to our code. So now last is sizoqala phi because ayikho into sizo declare, so sizoqala kuma default constructors. So I will say public, it's public, it's public. I said these are the default constructors. Okay, it's public, and then the name of the class, which is the child class, name of the class, and then open this bracket. After the bracket, put this, and then here now we need to inherit from what? Remember, these are the default constructors. Here, default constructor, we need to inherit from this one. Iwaphi lawo malokhu so inheritayo ilawo ama prop length something nalawo weight nabo depth. Okay, so now here we're just going to say base dot prop, and let me start with length, then equal to 0. I said these are the default constructors. Then again we're going to have base. Alright, no base lona usho ukuthi kahle nama properties lawa siwalanda from the base class. So that's why we have this base dot proplen moted base what it dot, and then izokwazi ukuvezela onke ama properties, even ama method izokuvezela onke ozowalanda from the base class, from the basic class. But if you didn't put this relationship, then ngeke ukwazi ukusebenzisa u base dot something, ngeke uvezele anything here. Uzofaka u base wakho but ngeke ukuvezele lama options lawa. So now we are done with the default. Let's go for parameterized constructors. Let me just copy this and paste. I will just change here. Okay, so here in sifakayo kumele sifake la malokhu. Okay, let me go back to the basic because iyafana and just need to do a copy and paste. Let me copy this to parameterized constructors, and then ngizofaka la ku saltwater pool and paste here. Izofana lento. So la izoshintsha labo 0, then I'll put capital letter L, this one, and then here move this 0 to W, this one, and D. Okay, let me save. Okay, we are done with my default. Okay, these are the default constructors, and these are the parameterized constructors. Ama-parameterized constructors umehluko ukuthi ufika udeclare futhi la amanye parameterized attributes values. Yes, so la you just assigning to default values. Default constructors, you assign the properties to default values. So now sizoqhubeka to ama-method. Sesiqedile ke manje ngama parameterized constructors. So now kumele senze i-method here. Iwaphi la ama-method omele siwenze na? Okay, let me check the document. They said la mele calculate in this cost and what else? Okay, it's the salt cost, pool cost, and what? And the salt cost. So zoo2 isn't the sitting, but before we calculate this one, we need this one. Since here they are telling us to calculate this cost, we need the basic pool cost plus the salt cost, and then before we get this one, we need the salt cost. We start a salt cost. See add the basic pool cost, because the basic pool cost is in already in method with basic class, the parent class. So we're going to override this method from the parent class and then versus add another salt cost. And this is how to calculate the salt cost. So once the customer selects the salt water pool, here, izobeke manje isi calculator again lapha izobisinikeza ama calculations here. Okay, I guess izweke manje because after is selected like type of pool, salt water pool, ayikho enye into mele I type or anything that is an input from the user. It's just to select the type of pool and then the set process bese amnikeza ama results. Okay, let's see how to calculate the salt cost. And then the salt cost is also the basic cost, which is in the total cost. Okay, let's see how to calculate the salt cost. So the salt cost is calculated at 15 cents for every 1 liter of water. Remember, ama liter see now ama liter we do have the number of liters. We did calculate the number of liters with basic class. So now to calculate this one, we need the number of liters times by 15 cents. Okay, so let me go back to the code. We need to calculate first. Okay, this is the method for calculating the salt cost. Okay, it's public double calc salt cost. Alright, so what we need here, we need what they said we need for every liter of water. Okay, so we need the number of liters and then times by 15 cents. Well, 15 cents is noted as a percentage, so we're going to say 15 divided by 100. Remember how many cents are there. We have got 100 cents to make 1 cent. Sorry, we have got 100 cents to make 1 rand. And then here they've just given us what? 15 cents. So this is like a percentage. So we take as a percentage, which we times a number of liters by 15%. So it's 15 divided by 100. Alright, so last is what a number of liters were, so it should be a return. Let me open the bracket. Then gives what base dot. What is the method for number of number of liters? Okay, and then put this bracket for this method, and then times by 15 divided by 100. Okay, then outside put this semicolon. Okay, we are done. We'll calculator in the salt cost. So now what do we need? We need to calculate what? The total salt water cost. So it's public. We need to override the method. It's public override calc cost. Select this one. Okay, once you select local cost, the is something like this. So now let me So la yini siyenzayo la, let's follow the statement with how do we calculate the salt water pool cost is charged at the basic pool cost plus the salt. So now we are going to take the basic pool cost plus the salt cost. So in method ka salt cost, we have already done this method. The only thing that you need to do now is to sum the two. So now we are going to add this one here. Here, what are we trying to do here? We are calculating what the salt water pool cost. Okay, and then they said we need to add what? We need to add the salt cost. See, add there with basic cost. So remember, this is a method, so we need to put this bracket. Okay, so let me put the bracket here. Let me open and close here. Okay, so now we are done managing a method there too for calculating what the salt water pool cost. So la kahle sizo level le manje sizo store sharpie la let me check it. Sizo store here. Remember, now we are dealing with what? With salt water pool. So the method is no longer a basic cost. Why? Because sesi override. Override you are creating now a new value but using same method. Okay, since now we have got same method, we want to reuse this method, but we want to add something on top of that method to make it new in this class of salt water pool. Remember, we do have this method where we parent class with basic pool, but now we are overriding. When we are overriding it, we are reusing the method, but we want to make it new in this class. How? By adding this one, this cost. So now angeke sasiletela exactly the basic cost here in this method, but izosilethela the sum of the two, but using same method. All right. Using same method esiyenzile na ku basic class. Okay, now we are done manje ngecode yethu yama classes. The parent, the child, and another child. We have got two child here. So now let's go to code under button. Okay, let me check the design. GUI. Angazi kwenzakalani la, ayiveza ama details, but this is our button according to design. This is the button. Okay, let me check. Okay, this is our button. Let me double click here ukuze sikwazi ukuthi senze icode yethu under button. All right. Isisivezele manje button lethu. So now we are going to create icode yethu entsha here. This is the driver code. Driver code le. So ikhona la sizokwenza khona icode under button. So now, before silokhuza lento, we need to understand how many classes we have. We actually have 3 classes. Sine parent, sine child, sine child. So we've got 2 child classes and 1 parent class. So we need to be careful here. We must understand that our variables are related to the parent class, and then put again our attributes or variables and methods are related to what? To our child classes. Individually, let's be careful. But lokho kuzosiza sizokwenza kanjani lokho sizo-identify using instantiation. Okay, so now let us declare now ama attributes wethu esizowadinga. Awuqala sizoqala ngawo la siwadeclare ilawa esiwenze kwi-parent class. Lawa esiwadeclare kwi-parent class yethu the length, the width, and the depth. Okay, let me declare those things, and remember ukuthi ama double. So I'm going to say double length equal to 0, and then another double equal to 0. Maybe this was this one. Okay, so another thing you need to be careful if uzo ku instantiation yakho, if you are going to use the parameterized constructors, you don't need to, if you are going to use the parameterized constructors here ku button lakho, you have to assign ama attributes wakho to default values here. But if you are going to use the instantiation using the default constructors, then you don't need to assign these attributes to default values. Okay, ngizochaza lokho in more details because for now people will be confused. Okay, so now what else futhi esizoyidinga, let me check code here. Okay, but for basic we okay, let me check. Okay, we are done ngalama attributes lawa, then I think we need to declare this one, the basic cost now. Okay, but the basic cost here too, ngifuna sibize as okay, now it's going to be a double. Last is to corner our basic cost, but let me call this as cost and assign this to 0. Let me check what else. Okay, for basic pool we are done. Into everything here is only the basic cost. The rest we don't need. Okay, again we are going to need this one because this is a display now. I'm a number of letters. This is what thing because we need to display them here. Okay, let me check this one. Yes, here we are going to display the number of letters here, and then the basic cost. The basic cost is adding a cost button layer too. And then we need this one. Again, we are going to need this, and we are going to need what else? This. So how many things this is a declarer? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the heating type, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now we need the number of liters. Okay, let me go back. Where is the code? Now we need the number of liters. The number of liters I will double now. Num liters. Okay, then let me assign to 0 as well. And then what else? Let me check here. Okay, we are done with 1, 2. I'm output rate 2. And then again we need to declare this thing, the heating type. Yes, the heating type. See, declare as a string this one. Okay, the heating type. Let me put that one. This is gonna be a string. Let me see. Heating type. Then assign this to empty double quotes. Okay. What else? And this is a declarer here. We're going to declare that's also in a total cost. Okay, but remember what the total cost here to basically override. When we were calculating the total cost, we were just overriding what? The basic pool cost. So the cost learner is still the cost as is the same, but it's just that we have added something on top of the basic cost. So now we can still use this cost, the same cost, ukuze ingas confuse uma sesiyenza kuma method. So sizosebenzisa this cost for all the cost esizowadinga, ama cost ethu azoba ama output. So save this value learner and this value where on this attribute. Okay, so now what else esidingayo? We need what? The salt cost. Now we need the salt cost. Okay. Now we need the salt cost. It's double. Let me say salt cost. Let me assign this to 0. What else? This is a thing. Again, we are going to need what? Okay, let me go back and check. We are going to need the heating cost, because now we just declared what? The heating type, but we haven't declared what? The heating cost. Just as I declare in a heating type le representa ini ama-right of buttons, ama-right of buttons, yes, the right of buttons, but again, oh, okay, heating type, we don't need to declare this one because it represents ama-right of buttons, yes, okay, so the only thing that is not declare is heating cost, represent the amount, but this one is represented by the, okay, njengoba bengisachaza la ukuthi we actually don't need the heating type because I represent ama-right of buttons. Remember ukuthi ama-right of buttons is almost what declare as a string, so we return a string uma a user i-clicka ini i-right of button. But for now we don't need, and i-statement asikho esishoyo ukuthi kumele display i-heating type, but the only thing abayifunayo bafuna senze ama-calculations using the heating cost, so we need to declare the heating cost. Remember ilokhu njani, sifuna ukuthi when the user selects any of these heating type kwi-right of button, sifuna ukuthi iyona i-return ini this heating cost amount, not ukuthi i-return ini the heating type. I-user will select the heating type from the right of buttons, and then it return these results which are heating cost. So now we don't need to declare these things, these variables. We just need to declare the heating cost, and futhi nelokhunjani ingasiza the heated pool class this child le class le heated pool ingasiza. Check here ama variables as what declared, we declared what the heating cost. Mhlawumbe bengayichazanga le eqaleni ukuthi why I chose to declare the heating cost instead of heating type. It's because in statement the Splish has calculated in the heated pool cost plus the heating cost, which means we need to calculate the total cost using the basic plus what the heating cost, which means using the basic plus the heating cost. So we just need to check did the user select any of these right of buttons, and then after that we return this heating cost. So we start that heating cost, let's see add nani nale basic cost. So for now we don't need to return what a string, but we need to return an amount after a user has selected what a right of button. We need to display something which is an amount, the heating cost, not a heating type. We just need to return the heating cost when the user selects inclusion heating type. So now where are we? Silapha form 1 the code and the button. So now we need to silungise le ingabi heating type, mele ibe heating cost. Let me remove this type and put cost, and then remove this string to double, because now we are declaring something a number, or it's actually amount, and then let's assign this to 0. Okay, so for now I think we are missing one, but for now let me carry on. Okay, so after this CRP game match, and then from here we need to convert izinto zama input. Ikupho kwama input, ilabo length nalabo width nalabo depth. So lokhu kwama input kanjani, because the user will type something here. Where is the GUI? Okay, here the user will type something here. Yes, so that's why I see this as input from the user lawa. So now the user will have to type something using the keyboard. So now we need to convert less input. So how are we going to convert these things? We are going to write this exactly as it is here. So qala ngo-length, and then this is equal to. So almost equal to, and then you put the data type, which is double, and then dot pass. Okay, sometimes abanye bajwayele ukusebenzisa convert to, it's fine, it still works as indlela efanayo. And then now we need to go back to the manje kunjani. Remember ukuthi here we are storing data collected with GUI. Remember ukuthi assigned to 0, which means these are the default values. So now when we are from the GUI, so low length law is now it currently contains 0 as a default value, but now we have got a value esizoyithatha la. We are going to take a value ezoshaya user here kulama text box lawo. So lama text box lawo siwanikeza amagama. So ninikeza amagama, but for now, okay, let me do this. Let me go back to the code. Uma city, because I'm a text box, so we're going to say txt is of value ngendlela declare ngayo. It's txt. Okay, length yes, nansi avela, and then dot text. Okay, yeah, and then semicolon. What is it? Okay, no. Simple, and then equal to data type. Dot pass. We are converting. Nice for the money. Yes, here it is, and then dot text. Alright, then semicolon to end the statement. What else? It's depth. Okay. Okay, this one. We want the local. Okay, Nalapa 40, we do the same like this, and then okay, after this, we need to do something called instantiation. Instantiation. Okay, so instantiation we call the class the parent class. This one, the basic pool, the parent class. Why? Because we are related to the so the information learner we cylinder from the parent class. So that's why we need to start with the parent class. So instantiation is from the parent class. So now we are going to call the name of the parent class, which is basic. Basic pool, and select this one, and then create an instance which is obj. Let me use objb to represent basic, and then equal to new. So the name of the object, you can create any name, but make sure that this one represent basic pool. That's why I used b here. Mothanda futhi ungangasho objb, mothanda ungasho base noma ungathi basic pool, but ubhale in small letters just to remember what this is the instance of the class. Okay, so now it's new basic pool. Okay, so now here the instantiation gizo creator using what? The parameterized constructors. Okay, so now siyenza kanjani ke lena ufikela udeclare ngathini ufaka amalokhunjana lama attributes lawa inside here. Remember what we had what lapha kuma parameterized. We had L to represent pop length, and then we had W to represent what? Pop width, and then we had D to represent what? The depth. So make sure even nalapha we code under button, make sure that it is the same as wenzile la. So we started with L to represent length, and then W for width, and then D for depth. Okay, so now we need to do it exactly, but now we are no longer putting lama values, lama attributes lawa swenze la ku basic. We're just putting these lawa no length no. Now we are using the local variables. So what declare is with comma, and then this will tata lena. Must make sure what iyalandelana ngendlela efanayo nangale kwilokhunjana with comma, and then copy this, paste it here. Yes, so la njoba awu 3 sikhohlwa comma la, we are forgetting comma. Okay, no error. Alright, njoba awu 3 la, make sure that it matches with this one. Awu 3 futhi la. So now it's correct. Okay, let's go back to the form. Ungayenza ke futhi nangema using the default constructors. Okay, so now after this, what do we do now? We need to assign ilokhunjana. We need to call a method now. We need to call which method? The method siyenze la leyo basic cost. the basic cost, which method, but I think out-to method is what thing ala. We need this method, and then we need what? The calc basic cost. So out-to method is what thing ala. So lama method lawa kumele siwa assign to new variables here. Lama method lawa kumele siwa assign la and here. The basic cost is la, and then my calc number of liters was 7. Let us start with the number of liters. Let me say number. It's num liters out. Should be num liters. Okay, this one. Okay, so we want to call the method. The method is bizarre. Sifuna ukuthi ilande ivalue izoyiseva la kulama num liters. So this is our local variable esideclare le last. Sifuna ukuthi ke manje siseve ini sifuna ukuthi ke manje siseve sifuna ukuthi siseve le value le yama lapha lesideclare la kuona lama number of liters. So now how do we call that? Remember, yes, we called the under button. So now we need to use this object because sesikhiye kahle kahle wale class esizokwazi ukusebenzisa to access all the attributes akhona kuleli class leli class eli parent. So now kulo basic pool, now we are going to use this object to access all attributes and methods lawa are esiwenzile here in this class. So now we're going to say num liters equal to obj b now we want the which is calc. Okay, let me just write it. It's calc num liters, okay, and then put the brackets, and then outside this just put semicolon. Okay, and then send the range 40 enye isifuna for the mark, that's the listing, the cost, and then we're going to say equal to, again cost esifaka la ilesilanda apha with basic pool. So now we're going to say cost equal to obj b dot calc. We want the basic cost. Okay, here is the basic cost. Here's this one. Enter, and then put this bracket. Okay, but now there is something missing here. Remember ukuthi lapha ku GUI yethu kukhona la sizostoresha khona ini ama values here. So these are the text box. La display khona ini ama final values. So remember ukuthi since these are the text box, so now code. Okay, so here now we need to put the values, these values. Now num liters and cost, they now contain ini ama answers. So since now they contain answers from when? From the basic pool. Now we need to assign those answers to when? To lama text box ala ku GUI. So now we are going to say txt zoqala le ama numbers, lama number of liters. Going to say txt, we want the number of liters, okay? Is txt liters, number of liters, dot text equal to num liters dot. Okay, remember which number of liters I would double, so I declare as what is double. So now I'm going to say dot to string because okay, ngizohamba ngiyochecka the football statement ukuthi bathela into lena menivele kanjani. Let me check here statement. I think there is somewhere la bayibhale khona lento. Okay, so we need to display the number of liters of water required to fill the pool, and the basic pool cost, either the heated pool cost or the output is displayed. Output must be displayed to 2 decimal places. Okay, but my output here must be displayed to 2 decimal places. Okay, let me go back to my code. So since it's set to string here, then now we need to put my double quote here. Set is 0 dot 2 decimal places. That's why I set is 0.00. It's going to it had only 2 decimal places. And then here, let me add this one. This is what it plus. Plus not double quote, no, let me put a space here, then again get it plus, and then not double quote again. So now here ngizobhala ukuthi liters. So lo letters lo wenzela ukuthi kuzovela le number le bese eceleni kubhale lo double quote lo is just to open a space between the number and this name, leli gama leli. So